Email I was composing has disappeared. Can I get it back? You know, I think this is one of those experiences we've all shared at one point or another. You're typing along, something happens. It could be anything from accidentally typing the escape key to your computer randomly crashing to the power going out, who knows? And all of a sudden, the email that you were just laboriously working over for hours or however long is gone. Can you get it back? We all hope so. The answer, unfortunately, isn't always positive. Email I was composing has disappeared. Can I get it back? It's no fun to write a long email and lose it. Here's how that happens and a few ways to avoid it. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is AskLeo.com. Question. I was responding to an email, but my response disappeared. Do you know a way I can retrieve it? The longer original question was a disaster waiting to happen. Before I get to that, though, I want to address the very common scenario. You're typing a nice, lengthy response in email, and all of a sudden, it's gone. There are many reasons this can happen, some benign, some disastrous. With so many possibilities, though, there are a few things to try to see if you can get it back before you panic. Undo. The very first thing I do in these situations is type Control-Z. That's the keystroke sequence for the undo command. Many times, whatever just disappeared returns just as quickly. If it doesn't, I type it more than once just in case. The scenario that's being undone is usually something like this. Somehow, everything in your message got selected. Accidentally typing Control-A for select all is the most common cause. Before noticing that everything's selected, you type another character, which replaces the current selection. Undo undoes that replacement. Problem solved. Draft folder. Most email services and programs have a drafts folder into which they periodically save a copy of what you're working on. That's the next place I look. You may find your work in progress. You may find most of your work in progress. You may find some of your work in progress. You may find nothing at all. It all depends on how often your service or program updates what you're working on to the drafts folder. This too has saved my bacon on more than one occasion. Restart. Particularly if the Control-Z trick didn't work, I'm tempted to restart my email program or, for web-based email services, close and reopen my web browser. The thinking here is that occasionally they get confused. Web browser caches sometimes provide what can only be termed unexpected results. While it's a bit of a long shot, restarting your browser can sometimes fix display issues with the email service you're using, and your partially completed message might reappear in the drafts folder. I do have to reiterate that this is a long shot. Recovering from crashes. If your computer, email program, or web browser crashes while you're composing your email, you have few options for recovery. Naturally, you'll restart the program and return to your email interface. Control-Z is exceptionally unlikely to work here, likely being erased by the crash. Your best hope is that the email system you use has a copy of your message in its drafts folder. A complex and geeky straw to grasp at. Type the Windows key plus R and then type %TMP%. That will run Windows File Explorer to open to your temporary files folder. Examine the contents of this folder for anything that looks like it might be a draft of your email in progress. What that might look like, I can't say, but keep an eye out for files that carry the name of your email program, subject line, or anything else relevant, as well as files with a date timestamp as close to the time of loss as possible. You can generally view their contents using Notepad, though it will likely be a binary mess. The chances are low, but for the desperate, it is one more straw to grasp at. The disaster waiting to happen. The original question included, quote, I clicked on reply and would write some, then clicked on the minimize box and it would be at the bottom of the screen ready to work on later. I did this several times, but over the weekend, end quote. The technique being used was to keep the email compose window open indefinitely, assuming it would always be there and ready to resume. Sorry, but that really is asking for problems. Keeping windows of work in progress open, any work in progress, without at least a couple of extra steps is just asking for that work to be lost. Be it through an unexpected reboot, hello, Windows 10 updates, a crash, or perhaps even an escape key typed at the wrong place at the wrong time, which closes the window, you're setting yourself up for data loss. Save early, save often. Regardless of what technique you use to edit your mail, the single most important thing you can do is to periodically save your work in progress. Don't assume someone else will save it for you. It can be as simple as typing Control-S every so often while you work. I'm fairly convinced that you can measure someone's experience with technology by watching how often they type Control-S while working. If you need to step away from the computer, type Control-S before you go. Even better, don't just minimize, close the window, making sure to say yes when it asks if you want to save your work in progress. That way you don't have to worry about someone else answering no while you're not around, and when you return, you'll find it in the drafts folder. Another preventative approach. Another technique I use from time to time is to compose not in my email program or web interface, but in an actual text editor or word processor. Those tools have frequent autosaves, so I'd be hard-pressed to lose anything, not to mention that I keep hitting Control-S, or its equivalent, periodically to save my work to disk. For links related to this article, or to leave a comment, visit askleo.com/2630. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is AskLeo.com. Thanks for watching.